Welcome to Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. Our podcast is brought to you to enrich our community by bringing in some small businesses, personal endeavors, not-for-profits, and hobbyists to introduce you to and introduce them to the community around us. So today we are joined by Stacey Bevill. Thank you, Stacey, for coming in. Stacey runs a company called Golden Career Strategies here in the Greenville upstate area. Stacey, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am too. I've known Stacey for a quick minute. We met many years ago through a business professional women's organization in Spartanburg. And really, I met her on the cusp of your career in coaching, correct?
Right.
Yeah, you were just going through some certifications when we met. But before you got into coaching,
Yes.
let me just ask you this: what is your degree in? What were you doing before you decided to get into coaching, and what led you to coaching? I just have all these interests about.
Great. So my degree was in sociology with a minor in psych. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I thought that I would go on to be a counselor, and maybe with my master's and maybe even my PhD. But things didn't work out. And instead, I started a company called Ask and Receive Inc., which is I still have, which is a marketing company.
Marketing company.
Yes, a marketing company. But it wasn't my bliss, and I knew that. I knew that I wanted to be in the business of helping people on a more personal level.
Right.
And so in 2016, I made the declaration that I was going to become a credentialed coach by 2017. Mm-hmm. And just wouldn't believe the miracles that happened so that could become true.
And in the financial world that I'm in, we're big on credentials and letters behind names and licenses and everything else. You have a lot of them. Let me just read: Stacey Bevill, PCC, BCC, MPM, professional coach and owner of Golden Career Strategies. That is quite a title.
I get told by my peers a lot, enough with the certifications. and it's not for the certification. Mm-hmm. What happens is every time I learn something new, it's like this beautiful tapestry that becomes more beautiful and tightly woven. So everything I do builds, and I'm always asking potential clients, what service are you, like, how can I best serve you?
Right.
And so different things come up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, your brain is like building and building and building, and you're adding to it and finding different directions to go, and the certifications are just additional education that help define that building process that you're doing with both your company and yourself, right?
Yes. So the PCC is an International Coach Federation credential. Mm-hmm. That was very important to me because international companies want to have somebody, a coach that's credentialed through that, and PCC is where I am right now.
Yeah.
And BCC is a board certified coach.
Okay.
And so for somebody that doesn't know what ICF is, it's just so much easier to say I'm board certified because that means something to me.
Right.
So, and then MPM is project management. And when I decided, who do I want to serve, right? After purchasing Golden, I really had a heart for manufacturing and service companies. So I thought, I don't want them soft-spoken.
Yeah.
Short. I don't want them to, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And so I took classes like Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, Agile, Change Management, a lot of different things to say, look, we understand process, but we also believe that your process is only as good as your employees are engaged. And engagement, we believe, requires trust, communication, resiliency, and belonging.
Wow.
So that's how we help.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Yes. But before I forget to say, because people have been wondering, what did she do with Golden?
Yeah.
We still serve individuals in career transition. So this other part is just a new division.
Yeah.
So
that's
exciting.
fantastic. And great credentials for where we live here in the upstate of South Carolina. There are so many international businesses in our surrounding areas. There's so many different industries that people can get into, and manufacturing, international, that is all such a huge component of kind of like the niche that our area is in.
Right.
Tell me about Golden Career Strategies, because it used to be owned by two other people years ago, Miles and Ann Golden.
Right.
And Miles passed away from, was it lymphoma?
I think so.
Yeah, which was really sad. But tell me, how did you take over at Golden and become such a force to be reckoned with?
I love this story. I just love serendipity and synchronicity, right? Yeah. I actually worked for Miles with the marketing company for about 12 years. Okay. And I actually, before he passed, got to talk to him and let him know that I was very interested in coaching. And so that was, I'm so happy we had that conversation.
Right.
And then when Steve Olson, amazing guy, bought the company and said, you might want to stick with Stacey. And he did. Yeah. And so that was right when I was stepping into coaching. And after our marketing meetings, I'd say, hey, Steve, can I tell you what I've been up to in the manufacturing and coaching realm? Because I thought one day I'm going to be one of his collaborators.
Oh, awesome.
And he always listened. And then when he was ready to sell the company, he called me. And, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Amazing guy, mentored me through the first year. Oh, still supportive. We still have a relationship. And Ann, I actually met Ann. The way I came to help with their marketing is we were both members of the Evening Rotary Club.
Oh, fun.
And my gift to the club was doing the first ever Reedy River Duck Derby website. And Ann said, I really want you to meet Miles. Oh. And the rest is history.
Yeah. And then you started doing marketing for Golden.
Right.
With Miles and Ann. And then now you're owning Golden. Now, when did you take over ownership and start this new endeavor?
Yes, in 2020.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, September of 2020.
It's been almost 4 years, 3.5.
3.5.
That's fantastic. So how have you changed it? So tell me about Golden Career Strategies and what you guys do and how you help people and companies.
Okay. That's a big question.
Yeah, I know. We can break it down. Yes. All right.
But I'll start with when I bought the company, I'd already had some manufacturing clients with the marketing, and I thought this is such a great target market because there's so many, and I can help individuals, but if I can help the bottom line for a company and then help that employee, that trickles into home, which trickles into community.
Right.
So it made sense to add that new division. So the first 2.5 years even, I laid pretty low because we were so busy just looking at everything we had, updating it, just in some classes for that, the National Career Development Association, and just making sure everything was up to date for that, and then creating this brand new division for manufacturing and service companies.
Great. So that's working with businesses.
Right.
What do you do with individuals? So if an individual comes to you, what does that look like? Who is that person?
Oftentimes I'm contacted by somebody that's interested in career transition, and that can be college age, or somebody older that's ready to have a new career, or somebody that maybe was laid off or they're just not happy, and they realize, wow, I'm only here for so long.
Yeah.
And one of the changes that I made is it used to kind of be very structured, and here's our package.
Right.
And now it's very much a conversation about how can I best support you. And so sometimes people use the package, especially if they're just out of college and don't have that kind of, how do I get a job, how do I network, how do I write my resume, to would it be better for me to serve as your coach and then provide certain parts of the Golden Career course to help assist you. So being very targeted, which also helps with cost.
Great. Now somebody mid-career, let's say, and realizing, this was me in my 40s, I was in the communications industry, and I'm like, I need to get out. Just for my health, I thought, just my sanity and my health, I needed to get out of that industry. And I made a transition, and it was like a several year transition that I did. How would you help somebody like that?
We always start with identifying that person's strengths.
Okay.
Because we don't know if they were let go or something happened.
Yeah.
Where are they personally?
Right.
So let's start with strengths. So we've got that base. And then I have an assessment so a lot of those credentials are newer assessments. So we now offer the Myers-Briggs.
Oh,
and,
wow, yeah.
And the Harrison assessment I use a lot with companies. It is good from pre-hire to the employee life cycle from one assessment, over 175 behaviors and traits. And what I love about that for individuals and companies is not only does it predict performance, it predicts enjoyment. Because one of my concerns is if we know that the average college graduate is going to have 6 different careers, how many jobs in that career?
Right.
And who's obtaining mastery? So the thing I love about the Harrison is that it also predicts enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because if you're more likely to stay, and we know how expensive turnover is.
Oh, it's crazy sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, what you're seeing a lot of times is somebody staying somewhere 2-3 years and then moving.
Right.
So, right when they're getting to the point where there's mastery,
Right.
they're going somewhere else,
Right.
whether they have a better offer or they're just not happy with the company. Yeah.
So if we can help, one of the things I do to help companies is if we know their interests too and where they want to grow, let's help them grow within the company so that knowledge base and that history stays. I just got to help a business owner in Charleston yesterday. We did a debrief. He had 3 people he was thinking of hiring and trusted me with the Harrison assessment.
Great.
And it was just so exciting to see him say, wow, that matches what my intuition was, and to just have something powerful. And then we can add a separate report of your greatest strengths that can be gifted to the candidate that didn't get selected.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
Yes.
That's really interesting that it will tell you what their strengths are in addition to kind of like their personality type and that kind of thing.
Can I add a little bit to that? So my mentor, Gene Gallivan, when I asked him to mentor me, he said, well, maybe, but first you have to take the Harrison assessment. And for half a second, I was like, what if it says? And then I was like, no, I was born for this work.
Yeah.
And it came up with #1 career coach.
Really?
It was my #1. and so it was so, he's passed now, but I obtained that certification a week before he passed, and I believe he knows.
Oh.
But it was so powerful because a lot of times, and you might remember this, when we change careers, we have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And because of this assessment and knowing how many people had taken it before me, I didn't have that. But what was so beneficial for Gene is he knew where I needed the most mentoring.
Right.
So it's just so if somebody you're ready to promote them, you can pull up that put in the new job description, and this particular assessment has over 700 job descriptions, and you can pick by level of experience and leadership. So cool.
Okay, what's the name of that?
It's the Harrison assessment.
The Harrison assessment. Okay, so I haven't heard of that. Myers-Briggs,
yes,
I heard of,
right.
And I've actually taken that one before. I think my dad's company did it on all the upper manager positions, and then he brought it home, and he actually gave it to all 3 of his kids and made us take it. I think I was in high school when I did that. That was really funny.
It's so helpful. And now they have an app that's only $12.
Yeah.
And so if you're talking to somebody and you each know, you can literally click on it and be reminded of what does that mean? What are some of the things for best interaction and communication or conflict?
Right.
Can I tell you about one more assessment?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this, and I've actually developed a great relationship with the founder. Ginny Whitelaw, worked in leadership development for NASA very high level.
Wow.
And she believed that all the leadership training was cerebral, and that because we're whole, but our mind and our body are connected, that we needed to bring in more of what might be considered somatics. So she started with the book Move to Greatness, and then she created this assessment that helps identify 4 patterns. And this may sound familiar to DISC, but what sets it apart is each of the 4 patterns she identified, we already have neural pathways in our brain for. So driver, organizer, visionary, and collaborator.
Oh, wow.
And so what we can do, especially, can you imagine for a new leader? When I gave this to Steve, he said, this is literally wisdom acceleration. Because we learn how to access those patterns as we get older.
Right.
But we, to be able to quickly access them in the moment.
Right.
So for instance, if you're in sales and you're driver, but who you're trying to sell to is not.
Right, exactly.
Right? You can literally shift by, say, if I was being driver, I can do a figure 8 on my palm.
Yeah.
And that literally lights up the neural pathway for collaborator. So instead of pushing, I'm connecting.
I'm writing down the figure 8.
So I love that I have that to offer to clients.
So this book is Move to Greatness, but what was her testing that she does?
So she has her PhD. This is based on years of research, and part of it was with a choreographer, and I know her name is I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to make a mistake.
Right.
But the book Move to Greatness certainly mentions her because there had been research done about how people in dance and the way they move their bodies were different and how they had different challenges. And so that was kind of the original research that led to what's the connection with the brain.
Right.
So I love knowing that, a lot of times it's like, well, we don't really change. Well, we don't, because it's hard sometimes. But if we had an easy way to do that, and so as a gift for my clients, just to make it more useful, I created a page that has songs they can listen to that activate that, images they can look at. Ginny actually doing the different movements, like this is a driver movement, right? This would be a collaborator. And so there's this whole resource page. And I say, if you know what your day looks like and you know what energy pattern, you can literally spend 5 to 10 minutes on this page and have that part of your brain activated.
I remember watching something, and they were talking about the power stance and how women should do it in front of a mirror every day, every morning before they leave the house. It's hands on the Wonder Woman.
Yes.
The Wonder Woman stance, where your hands are on your hip and you stand up straight and tall.
Right.
And
Amy Cutter, I think, did that research.
I don't remember who it was. I just remember, I'm like, that's interesting. Yes,
it's so amazing, because I remember when I first did this, it was like, that is so uncomfortable. And now all of them feel good, depending on what I need to do. I love that you brought her up, because a lot of people, there was a lot of feedback of you didn't do this or you didn't do this in the research. And she actually took every critique and redid it and had the same results. So there is something. If you've got that important phone call to make,
right.
Take that power stance. Own it.
Yeah. What's another one that I remember? If you're making phone calls, like if you're cold calling people or doing salesy kind of thing, to have a mirror, and before you pick up the phone, just look in the mirror and smile, and that'll change your voice trajectory. You won't be so glum. I got to make these phone calls.
Right.
You're more light and bright, and just smiling just has an effect on how you sound. It's
so amazing how many little different tricks are, because with that too, if I'm making an important phone call, I stand up.
Yeah.
Or I pet my dogs first, right? So I'm already like, yay, dogs. And so I sound happier. I mean, and I want that, because we forget, Anne, that people feel our energy, whether we're conscious of it or not. So when you can come to the table with, what do I want people to feel?
Right.
I want them to feel hope, inspired.
Right.
All these.
Safe.
Yes, safe.
Yeah. Definitely. So you mentioned DISC. So is that one you use as well, or you prefer the other tests?
I prefer Phoebe, but there are so many companies that like DISC that I've played with the idea of getting credentialed in that.
Right.
Even if it's just simply to say, you know,
we offer it.
Right, we offer it. If that's what you really love. I mean, I'm taking training today based on having a conversation with a potential client and saying, what are you lacking? How can I help? And they said, we have a provider in another state, but we'd love to have a local provider.
Yeah.
So I looked into the training. It was something that was missing from our portfolio.
Oh, wow.
A Leadership 360 assessment.
Okay.
And I'm literally in the training this week. Finished that Thursday. But
you are always educating. I'm so inspired by you because you're always doing more educating, trying to better your company and yourself.
Yeah. And it's not just me too, it's the collaborators, because of every time in these trainings I meet amazing people.
Right.
And then can bring them in. We're going to be adding positive intelligence. And I've got a connection from Canada, and I said, you should apply for the grant for positive intelligence training. Well, she ran with it, got credentialed, and she's coming on board as a collaborator. I'm so excited about that. So
positive intelligence.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, so it's a grant.
It's a grant.
Well, they have grants if you're already a coach.
Right.
Because the Shazad, and I forget his last name. I'm so bad with names. And
I am too. I feel your pain.
A vision that he wanted to help a million people in his lifetime.
Yeah.
And he understood that he couldn't do that unless he trained other people to do what he had created. And so positive intelligence mixes a lot of different things like positive psychology, just a lot of different things to really focus on how we self-sabotage and how we can overcome that.
Right.
And what I love about the program is you get the book. It's all included, an app that you get for a year, which is so helpful, and weekly videos of training from Shazard. And then we have a weekly podcast that either myself or my collaborator from Canada will be managing.
Wow.
And it's just amazing the transformation that can happen.
Oh,
and I've done
I think I need that. Yeah. Self-sabotage. That's like my middle name, I feel like, half the time.
But when we can recognize, for instance, mine was being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And as a marketer, that was really important. But how much time did I lose because I checked it for the third or fourth time? Right? And when learning to let go, and it just freed up mental space and real time and so many different things. So I'm always looking for how can we best support our employees or ourselves.
Man, you're inspiring me. I have a ton of questions to ask you from this. And we've kind of jumped off course just a little bit. And one of them I wanted to ask you about was you're hosting a monthly in-person networking event workshop, and you're having one next week. And I actually signed up for it.
Great. I saw that.
So I'm coming next week to this event. Tell me the name of it.
Yes. It's the Golden Career Strategies Upskilling and Networking event. And so at the very beginning, I give a little bit of something from the coaching realm.
Right.
In last couple times ago, I talked about highly sensitive people. They're about 20% of the population, but nobody really knows what does that mean. And so just something that's kind of in my, at that time. And I just love doing that. It's all about sharing the knowledge and the wisdom. And I'm so glad that you asked about that. It's the third Thursday of each month. You can go to the website, goldencareerstrategies.com.
Okay, great.
And on the top right is where you can register.
Yeah.
But back by popular demand, and starting next month, I'm bringing back the Monday morning roundtable.
Oh, yeah.
That was
so in February.
Yes. I'm only going to do it the first Monday of the month just because of time constrictions at this point. But I'm really excited to bring that back. That was such a staple, and Miles started that early on.
Right.
Steve continued it, and I started it and did it for the first couple years.
Right.
And then just was so busy. It was kind of like, well.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, you have to. This is your company now, so you have to do your own spin on things as well.
Yeah.
So you have the third Thursday is
the Golden Careers Upskilling and Networking.
Yep.
And that's from 1 to 2:30.
1 to 2:30.
I wanted it to be different, Anne, and not just the, we go around the table and we say the same things. And so I ask either 2 questions that you get to pick what question you want to answer. But I want us to know each other because we're more likely to refer somebody if we know you both personally and professional. Like we know what motivates you, what inspires you, what's important to you outside of work.
Yeah.
And so we make time for those kinds of relationships to be built in addition to giving a new tool for your tool belt.
Right. I think that's important because what you see a lot of times is your friendships are those that you build in your office and in your business environment because you're spending so much time with those people, letting them know who you are and understanding those that you're spending 8, 9, 10 hours with Monday through Friday is important.
Yes.
And kind of that networking goes along with that. You don't really want to give a referral to somebody if you don't, in essence, really know who they are and do they hold the same beliefs that you have.
Right. We're in essence trusting our people with them. And when you think about it, Ian, we wouldn't be having this conversation if that hadn't happened through business and professional women all those years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
It's not always instantaneous, right?
Yeah.
It's but it's there and it just grows.
It does. It does. Those connections grow, and the more that you talk with somebody, the more interested that you get in what they're doing and who they are, and that friendship and business environment definitely grows.
Right.
So let me see. We've talked about so much. My mind is just like going off in so many different directions, and I know we had some things set up. So the roundtable that you're going to do, is it going to be set up the same way, the Monday morning roundtable that you're going to have the first Monday of every month?
Right, from 9 to 10.
So who comes to that? What are your goals in that roundtable? Tell me about that.
A lot of different people, either people that had worked with Miles or Steve in the past or who want another opportunity for networking, some that are actively looking or thinking maybe they want to change careers. Right. It's really, and we do kind of the same thing where I bring up a topic and then we talk about it. And it's a great way to build those relationships and learn about each other. And sometimes then people get a job and fall off and then new people come, and it's really fun. To just, and Miles, his main purpose in doing that was so that you started the week off feeling connected and empowered, and I mean, it takes work to find a job. It can be daunting. So here's this Monday opportunity to see, of course you can do this. And of course, and I just, the miracles I see when people put themselves on that course, or when they make that declaration of this is what I want. Right. Then the opportunities to take those steps happen.
Right. What do you see in the different age groups? What's coming up? That millennial, was it Y generation that's coming up? What are you seeing differently with them? Are they, I feel like they're searching. They're searching for something that's going to make them happy. And then you have, I think, the baby boomers out there, which I am not a baby boomer.
Me either.
That is kind of like, that's not the purpose of work kind of environment.
Right.
What are you seeing with those younger generations that are going to be the primary workers in the workforce come the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think they do. Maybe they saw their grandparents or their parents work and be committed to this one company,
Right.
and then things didn't work out. And so, or just realizing when we see the level of mental health issues, really seeing the importance of self-care
Right.
and creating a life that you enjoy living.
Right.
And I think when I work with all ages, so a lot of times if you're just out of college, you probably do need some of the structure of the Golden Course because you
Right.
haven't really gotten. And let's start you off with the best job you can get
Right, yeah.
from the get-go. And then with others, kind of this realization of, wow, I don't have to push so hard. I mean, my life is so different now that I'm a coach. I live and breathe this. I wake up excited every day. And I remember my dad told me after he retired that when he woke up, he would say, just show me, God, who I'm here to serve today. And
wow.
and I wake up with that of, oh, who? In the days where it's just office work is like the toughest because so I make time for friends and do lunches and, just connect.
Yeah.
But how exciting to know that we can create a better life.
Yeah. I'm excited that your career has gone in this direction and how happy you are and what you're bringing to the community and society and the people that you're helping, whether they're corporations or individuals. And what a great gift it would be for parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles of people graduating from college, and we're coming up on that in just a few months, as May. Well, I know some kids that graduate in December, but as May is looming and these kids are already starting to look for a job, putting them in touch with Golden Career Strategies and having them take some assessments, identify. It would be great if people would take some of these assessments while they were in high school and, identify what direction they should go.
Right. Right. It can save so much time, heartache, and money.
Yeah.
If we simply, and I don't have many regrets in life, but knowing what I know now, I would have pursued becoming a coach so much sooner.
Right.
And sometimes we let fear paralyze us, or we don't want to shine as bright, or we think we're supposed to do this or this.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if we can trust, not in just ourselves, but in the connections we have.
Right.
It's an amazing gift. And especially if somebody spent a certain amount of money to help somebody get a degree,
right.
Let's help them be successful with it.
Most definitely. Stacey, we're kind of at time right now. One of our signature questions is, what makes you tick? I feel like we've discussed that today, how coaching and serving others really makes you tick, but I'll let you answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this time. It's just such a joy. I think what makes me tick is really understanding that others feel our energy, right? And being conscious of what choices am I making each day,
right? And
how do I want to show up? I'm not in my 20s anymore, so what do I want to do with the rest of my life?
Right.
And so if I think I can be so passionate about what we do with Golden because I've experienced it.
Right. True. Fabulous. How can people get in touch with you? You website, social media. Tell me about that.
GoldenCareerStrategies.com. Easy to find. Stacey Bevill, Bevill, on LinkedIn. And my phone number is 864-527-0425.
Fabulous. And people out there, remember she has a third Thursday event. You can go to her website, goldencareerstrategies.com, right? And look for, it's a upskilling and networking event. And then Golden Career Strategies is starting back on their Monday morning roundtable, which is a networking event. Great for people that are looking for positions and just needing some support from other professionals in different industries,
Right.
really.
And that's via Zoom.
Oh, great.
And I know that deciding to work with a coach or a company is a big deal, so I always offer a complimentary consultation.
Great.
So on my website, people can sign up and meet me, see if I'm a right fit for them or their company.
Fantastic. Now, you have other coaches at Golden as well, right?
I do,
Okay.
yes.
So it's not just you at Golden, you have a whole team behind you.
Right. That was the most exciting thing because I'd worked as a solo entrepreneur for so many years. And the week I bought the company, the first thing I started doing is, who do I want to partner with? Who do I want to bring into this?
Right.
Because a lot of times there's amazing coaches, but they may not be good at marketing themselves. So let's create this amazing team.
Right. Fantastic. I'm excited about what you're doing and how you're expanding on Golden Career Strategies and what you're giving back to our community. Thank you, Stacey, for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us at Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. Like Stacey says, you can reach Golden Career Strategies at goldencareerstrategies.com. Also on LinkedIn, Stacey Bevill. That's how I stay in touch with her and all the activities that are going on at Golden. So thank you again for joining us at Connected by Community. Have a great week.